Well, good morning, everybody. Let's everybody say good morning real loud. 1, 2, 3. Good morning. Awesome. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Randy Madison. I serve the RTOC. The folks that were up here are my supervisors. I work for the board of directors as well as for the committee that you tribal folks elected to serve you. It is my honor to serve as the executive director of the Region 10 Tribal Operations Committee Consortium and to administer the grant graciously given through the EPA IGAP funding pool to enable our committee to work for our tribes. So I wanted to start off, as Kathleen said, with that gratitude, because without our partners at EPA, we could not present these types of events and serve you in the way that we do. So thank you so much for that. We're grateful. I also wanted to recognize that in this room, although it's a big room and it doesn't look like that many people, we have 162 folks here this morning that came from all over Alaska, Idaho, Oregon, Washington. Some people even came from California and Washington, D.C. So we are so grateful that you all got here safe and you are here to, or hopefully ready to really engage, because we are going to really work your brains this summit. We have developed a workbook to accompany every day of our, well, the first 2 days primarily of our summit. And it's something different. We've never tried this before. But we have all had those experiences where we have gone to conferences. We've heard amazing presentations. We've met new people. But once you get home, it's back to the grind. And sometimes the things that we learn just gets lost, or sometimes you don't have a means to share what you've learned with your peers or with your supervisors or with your teammates. So we really wanted to provide that tool for you as we work through some very important topics about capacity building. And capacity building is not only for tribes, it also pertains to EPA, to other federal and state agencies. They have to develop their capacity to work with tribes, just like tribes have to develop their capacity to work with those agencies. So we really wanted to highlight the fact that we're all here building capacity. This is not just about tribes developing capacity. So in our workbooks, you're going to see a range of topics that really start to get to the heart of some of the very important ways that we can start working together to accomplish the same goal, and that is to protect and preserve this beautiful land and planet that we live on. For those of you who are online, I did want to recognize we have about 42 people online joining us that couldn't make it in person. You folks do have a PDF version of this workbook, and my apologies for getting it up there really late this morning. I hope you have time to print it out so you can actually do the work with us. But those of you who are here in person, you have workbooks that look like this. This one that says workbook on it is for day 1. So today you'll be starting and you will be given prompts by the presenters when it's time to dive into your workbook activities. Some of these workbook activities are going to be just for you to listen and jot down your ideas as you hear panelists or presenters speaking. You have some prompts to fill out and places to take some notes. Other activities, we're going to have you actually get up out of your seats and move to different tables throughout the event, not at every exercise, but at some. And that's, I want to call your attention to the colored ribbons. And so hopefully everybody has a colored ribbon attached to your name tag. And we're going to be doing it by color coding. So whenever you're prompted to move, you'll be instructed to have a certain number of red ribbons at your table, a certain number of white ribbons, and a certain number of yellow. It may not always be perfect, but that's what we want you to shoot for. So you end up having robust conversations with different types of people at your table. So it's going to be a very highly interactive session, summit, like I said. We're very excited to have this opportunity to engage. We really hope that you take on the challenge and complete your workbooks. We will have a grand prize drawing at the end. You are required to attend the last, the very last session, module number 6, in order to be qualified for the grand prize drawing. And yeah, we just really hope that you engage, have fun, meet new people, push yourself, as Kathleen said, a little bit out of your comfort zone, and take something home with you that you can use. And you can use this to move forward, not only for your tribe, but sometimes we end up doing a little personal reflection, and you can take that home with you as well. And maybe it could change the course of your life. So thank you so much. Oh, thank you very much. I was reminded that I need to do group agreements. So as I mentioned, for those of you in person moving to different tables, we will be doing some small group work. If you're not used to this small group work, which I'm sure most of you are, but we wanted to set some basic agreements for respectful engagement. And those can be found actually in your first workbook. We started by listing just 4 of them. And I did, how much time do I have? Okay, I think we have time to get some audience feedback too. If there's anything else that you feel like needs to be added, we'd invite you to come up, and I believe Heather's going to have a mic. So please don't be shy. The first agreement that we have is that in every chair, there is a leader. So some of you folks may come knowing that very well you are a leader. Some of you, this may be your very first exposure to this summit. It might be your first year working for your tribe in the IGAP department. You could have a range of experience, but what we want you to know that no matter your experience level, because you're here, you are a leader. So please take that to heart, own it, and really dive into that title of being a leader. The second one is share the air. We all know what this means. Some of us are highly outspoken and like to talk, like myself. Some are very quiet and shy and may need a little bit of pause or silence before they feel comfortable to speak. So please feel comfortable in the silence. Please note if you're at a table having a discussion, if you are taking up most of the time, just take a breath and pause and give somebody else an opportunity to speak. The third one is to take your hats off. Of course, this isn't literal. We love your traditional hat, Russ. You're not going to be asked to take that off. It's a figurative speech. So we all come to the table with a title. It could be some highfalutin thing with PhDs and numbers and not numbers, but letters behind your name. It could be mom, dad. We all have different titles. So come to this table without your hats on and just be present to engage with each other, please. That's how we're going to get very authentic, real engagement is through communicating through our hearts. And the fourth, we have decided to ask you to give people the grace to break the rules. So oftentimes, especially when we're surrounded by folks who might have a higher stature or title, we feel like we might be confined to fit within their perception of how we should behave or act. What I want you guys to do is give each other permission. So if you have somebody at your table who may be somebody with a very high position or high title, give them the permission to break the rules. Give them the permission to be a little less formal, and vice versa. If you're a tribal person and if you're brand new, give yourself the opportunity to break the rules and be brave. If you don't always know the protocol or you don't always feel comfortable because you don't want to offend somebody or speak out of turn, just give yourself a little bit of grace to break the rules and make mistakes. It's okay. And I want us to have that kind of attitude and atmosphere here throughout our 3 days together. Nobody's going to hold you to things right now. We want you to feel comfortable and free to engage. So I do want to ask if there's anyone else who has any other agreements that you'd like to have the group agree to. And online, do we have any? Okay, so online, I'm not 100% sure if we are able to break you out into groups, but we will try to get that figured out before we have these group table work experiences. Just keep an eye on the chats and keep an eye. We have somebody monitoring our online folks with information and prompts, and you can always get in touch with Jennifer through the app if online to help out with anything that you're having questions about. So there is somebody constantly monitoring that. So anyways, I guess I want to wrap up and just say again, take a breath, get comfortable, ease in. We're going to jump into some really amazing panels. We're going to talk about some kind of uncomfortable things from time to time. We're going to ask you to be brave, show up, do the work, and take it home with you and share it. So thank you for being here. And I think we can try to assemble the next panel.